Hi, and welcome to another episode of No Bones About It. I'm Anna Dhody, Director of the Mütter Institute and Curator of the Mütter Museum. And I have with me today artist Noah Scalin. Welcome.
Thanks.
Now, you are a longtime friend
Yes.
of the Mütter Museum. We go back years. I believe it started in 2009. You came to do a Day of the Dead Festival talk.
That's right.
And then, very favorite, in 2010, you did a very special brain skull.
Yes.
And you can still go onto YouTube and see that, and that was really a highlight.
It was a highlight of my experience too.
Really, you could take 375, I believe, something around that number of acrylic brain slices and make a skull.
Yeah.
Why not? But now you have a new project. You have a new book.
That's right. Yeah. So the reason we originally met, though, if you remember, was because of a project that I did called Skull a Day, where I made skulls every single day for a year out of every kind of art material imaginable. And I guess the story, right, was that you actually got many copies of my first book.
I got at least, I think, 3 or 4 copies from all my different friends. And then I said, okay, I have to contact
So we were fated to meet.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's because of that, really, that we began this relationship and I started coming here. And so the cool thing is we've kind of come back around again because I just put out a book of the entire Skull a Day project. This is the first time ever in print. All 365 of my pieces are in sequential order in one place. So you can physically flip through and see what it's like to have a year of creativity in this form.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, so the original skull book was just a sample.
Exactly,
yeah. So you are known as the Skull Man.
Skull guy, sure.
But you're an artist first and foremost.
Yes.
So what other things have you been working on as well?
Well, I love skulls, and I'm glad that that's what I did with my project, and people know me for that. There's certainly worse things I could be known for. But the thing about that was that, it's one of my passions. And so what's been great is that I used that project to show people what I was capable of. And now what I've been doing is a lot of gallery exhibitions of work based around portraiture. So I still do some skulls, but now I've pulled it forward into what's on top of the skull as well.
Yeah.
And my passion also is science. And so, of course, that goes really well with the Mütter because that's really what this is about. It's not just looking at skulls. And so for me, too, my interest in skull also comes from the fascination with science. And so now I've been doing a lot of portraits of scientists.
Wonderful.
And I hope one day I'm going to get to do Thomas Dent.
It happens. It has to happen.
Yes.
It has to happen. And we will make it happen.
Okay.
But back to the skulls. I love the idea that, so they're in sequential order. So
Yes.
January.
Well, so I actually started it was actually on June 4th, 2007, and then it went all the way around. And because it was a leap year, it actually ended on June 2nd, 2008, which happened to be my birthday as well. So it was a great way to end the project.
Now, I have my personal favorites. Can I tell you some of my favorites?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm still fascinated that you were able to do that bread skull because, as a baker, you were able to take like the raw dough and you never know how it turns out. It was different.
That really exemplifies the project because I was experimenting and almost every day I was doing something I'd never done before. In the beginning of the project, I worked through every skill I already had. And so then it was like, now I have to just try new things. And I never knew if they were going to work. And so the bread skull was a good example of where I collaborated with a friend who liked to bake. And she helped me. She prepared the dough for me. And then I was like, okay, I have an idea. I think it'll work. But we'll see when it comes out. And sliced it. And then luckily one of the slices looked good. But that was the risk I was taking. And yet the risks I took really gave me the benefits of the project, which was that I just really grew as an artist and then had all kinds of great things happen, like coming here.
That's great. Is it still in your freezer? I heard a rumor that it was in your freezer.
It was. I have to check because I cleared out some of the stuff recently. But I kept a lot of things in my freezer for a long time.
And the one also where you created the skull with the sheets in the hotel room.
Yeah, people loved that. It's funny because it was something so ephemeral. I really just woke up that morning, happened to be traveling, knew I wasn't going to be able to go anywhere else to make art. And that was a cool thing about the project is I really did do it every day. But that meant I didn't have my comfortable studio to work in. And so saw that sheet on the floor of the hotel room, arranged it, and then I left it that way.
And you tipped the housekeeping staff well, I'm assuming?
Well, hopefully they had a nice experience seeing that artwork that I left for them, but they probably just thought
imagine going in there and like,
what is this?
Is this a sign? Is this sort of a signal?
People really like that. And I think that's what's fun about the project, too, is that it's very accessible. I didn't want it to be a frightening or disturbing thing. I think like the museum as well. It's really something more about interest. Like, look at how cool this is. Look what possibility, the range of what you can do, how amazing the skull is as an image and as a symbol.
I mean, it's amazing now. We both have young children, and you can go into any big store and there's just skulls everywhere.
For little kids.
When I was a little kid,
it was
all
hard.
Custom made.
Exactly. You had to paint it yourself. Yeah.
And so I think we're really in that area of skull acceptance in the sense, or just understanding that it's this iconic image that we all understand. We all have one.
Yeah, and it's meaningful to everyone, regardless of language, religion, experience, age, all over the world. And I love that. And that's sort of what worked out for me with the project, was that I had no idea. I just something I just happened to like. But to find out that so many people connected with it, and so many families and people would say, my kid loves your book. I had no idea Book of Skulls was going to be something that kids would like, but I loved it because then they see it and they're inspired to be creative when they look at my project.
When was that point in your life when you really started to get interested in skulls?
Well, I'll tell you, I have a drawing I did at age 6 that's a perfect, beautiful, realistic skull. I mean, it's really nice. I do, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I want to see this.
Okay, I'll send a copy to you. Yeah, and I found that recently. Was like, I guess I've always liked them. It really has been something that, my parents are artists. And so we grow up, when you grow up with artist family, you grow up around anatomical imagery. And so I've always been comfortable with it, and I've always had a fascination with how do things work, what's behind the scenes, what's behind, our scenes, what's inside of us.
That,
so I just always have liked them, and I'm glad that I chose something that I just happened to like for my project, because I spent so much time with it, and of course here I am years later still talking about it, still putting things out about it, and so luckily I went with my passion.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And it's interesting how you can have a skull in the artist and follow your interest in the skulls down an artistic path where I can't draw a straight line, but I love skulls and I just follow down a different path.
Absolutely.
It all works, and then it converges and it kind of works together, and it's fun, and you can do all sorts of different things, and you don't have to be an artist to love skulls. You don't have to be a scientist. You don't have to be a physical anthropologist.
And that's what I love about the Mütter, is that it's a place where you can come from any perspective and really appreciate it, whether it's just from a visual standpoint, from a scientific standpoint. You can really get this wonderful experience here.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, what is like the public? Have you been able to track what your number one most popular work is? Can you do that by page hits? I don't know.
Right. I'll tell you, one of the most popular ones I did were more graphical, sort of stylized ones. And the only way I know those are really popular is that they've been stolen the most. So
I just saw your skull sushi not attributed, and I had to, on Facebook, I had, excuse me.
Yeah. I know who made that.
I know who made
it
that.
happens all the time. And I mean, I love that people love the work enough to want to share it. And it would be nice if they said that it was from me, but...
Well, we will always attribute to
Thank you.
To
I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, I think we're about out of time. The book will be available in our museum store, of course, and available online, I'm assuming,
Absolutely.
all over.
Yeah.
So you got to check it out. And thank you so much.
You're welcome.